to day 3, our final day of the CashFLOW challenge. Say hi if you're watching live. If you're watching on replay, hashtag replay so that I know that you watched. Hello, hi Jenny. Hi, how are you? Nice to have you. Hope you are enjoying the challenge and hope that you are putting some of the things into practice. Let me know how you're getting on. So today I wanted us to have a look at just recapping, bringing everything together, making sure that we understand what's happening. Hello, hi, making sure that we understand what's happening with the numbers, because I know it's a big task trying to have a look at your numbers, trying to sort out things. But before that, let me know how you're doing, where you're watching from. Today in Kent, it's a bit, it's not as cold as the last couple of days. It's been freezing. I thought, winter was finished, but it's been absolutely cold and wet. But today looks a bit promising. At least the sun seems to be coming out a bit. So just waiting for that. Hopefully that will come and, we can start warming up and not freezing all the time. Yes. So how are you doing with your business? How is it going? What challenges are you facing? What things are you celebrating? It's a new month of March. Do you have any goals? Yeah, how are you getting on generally? But yes, today I wanted to bring together these 2 points, the cash in and the cash out, just to make sure that, you understand exactly how to put the 2 together. So when you're looking at your cash flow, when you're trying to understand, what is the problem in my business? Is it, I just never seem to be able to, I make any money. I never seem to be able to pay my bills. I can't pay myself. What's going on? It's usually something to do with your cash flow. And there are many aspects. It's it's a maze. It's a huge maze, many different things which affect your cash flow. So what we are looking at this week is just the fundamentals. Remember, I had said that in business, there's the science bit, which is the numbers bit. The numbers never lie. 1 + 1 = 2 and will always be. And then there's the other side, which depends on your creativity, your marketing, your, how your branding, how you sell. All those things depend on your personality. But some things are just what they are. 1 + 1 = 2. So, yeah, so when you start looking at your numbers, it's very important to just be factual and not to pay too much, not to try and take the emotion out, basically, because running a business can be a very emotional thing, especially because it depends on why you started your business. All of us that don't go into business just for fun, because it's hard. I mean, it's a lot easier to just be employed and just wait for the money to come at the end of the month. But when you start a business, we looked at some of the reasons. Sometimes you have no choice because you just cannot get employment. So the only way is to start fending for yourself. So you find something so that you can buy and sell it. Other times you're just sick and tired of being employed. You're sick and tired of being in an environment where there's so much politics, who gets promoted, who doesn't, who's talking to who's doing what. Hi, Leila, nice to have you. Who's doing what? And it becomes such a political environment, and you're sick and tired of corporate that you start your own business just to get your own freedom, just to get time freedom for different things, and to make more money. Because sometimes it's so hard. If you're on a set salary, it's really hard to plan and to achieve big things, because if you have a set amount of money coming in, you're always going to have that money. So when you're in business, you can actually influence the amount of money coming in. And there are so many reasons why people start businesses. It could be you want to pursue your passion. It could be that the opportunity presented itself. But the fact is, many of us are not business people. We are probably good at what we do, but we are not, MBA professionals who know how to run a business, who are CEOs and who've been running it for years and years. Because if you look at you're really good at what you do, but the skills that we need, we just need to bridge that skills gap, and we'll be able to get better. And it's a learning experience, and it's okay if you're not great at it now. The thing that matters is that you're willing to learn and implement these new things that you're learning. So there's that aspect that it's a science and you are emotionally invested in it. But some things, like your numbers, you really have to practice a lot of self-restraint and discipline to critically look at your numbers and make sure that you're treating them as though it's just, 1 + 1 = 2, and you don't really put that much emotion. It's really hard to do that, but that's one of the things that you need to do. So just to recap again, 70% of small businesses fail by the time they're in year 5. That's huge, huge, huge. So if you're in a room of 10 small businesses, only 3 of you will be still active in year 5. The other 7 would have, disappeared. And most of them, it will be as a result of cash management. Many times it will be, and when due to the lack of cash, a lot of the time is just understanding how to manage this cash flow. And that's why we're looking at this exercise, to try and make sure that you can manage, you see the money coming in and you see how it's being spent, because your business is the one that should be paying for itself. And when I say it should be paying for itself, you're also included in that picture. You're working so hard, you're investing your time, you're taking the risk, you're investing your money, and therefore you should be able to make a living out of your business. If you're not, there's something wrong. And that's what this challenge was all about. It was all about making sure that you can understand your business, that you can understand where your money is going, and you can see, do you really need to spend that money? And then Leila is saying that I think many people are wanting to start their own business, but they don't know where to start. That's true. Fear of failure is holding them back. Do you have any advice for them? Absolutely. Many people, many business people that I've been reading about and that I've come across, and many small business owners that I keep speaking to, everybody has a certain fear. And the only way to get over the fear is to attempt to do it, is to just start. And many people, like, there's a quote I saw about Michael Jordan. He said that he's the most successful at what he does because he's the one who's failed the most. I found myself that I suffer a lot from the fear of failure. I'm just so afraid to start something because I'm like, oh my God, what if I fail? What's going to happen? But if you never start, nothing is ever going to change. So in order to get better at what you do, you just have to start and surround yourself with people who know more than you. Surround yourself with, try and learn from other businesses, always open and willing to learn, about how to make it better. So that's the only way that you can combat that fear. A lot of the time, it's just the initial fear, but once you jump into it and you do it, you'll be wondering, oh, I don't even know what I was afraid of. And then you move on to the next level. Yeah, and also Leila is saying that the other issue is when you start a new business, one may not have funds to pay for someone to manage your money. So you make so mistakes are made. Absolutely. If you're starting a business, guaranteed you're not good at, maybe you're good at sales, but if you're a service-based business, you won't be good at sales. So you need to learn how to do that in a way that's not uncomfortable to you. Again, if you're managing your money, you need to learn how to manage your money, because managing your money for business is completely different. And there are reasons why big organizations have systems in place, have things, rules and policies that they've put in place. That's to help them manage the money. And being a small business, my vision is to help the small businesses become legacy businesses, so that the business can outlive you. The business can, even if you don't want to keep it in the family, you can sell it at the end of it and cash in on that. Use that money for retirement, or use that money to invest in something else. But my desire is for you guys, small businesses, to get past that 5-year bump, but also to be able to build a business that's strong in itself and that can survive for generations to come. Maybe not in your family. If it's in your family, that'll be awesome. But somewhere out there in the world, it will still be running because it has fantastic fundamentals. So that's my desire for small businesses. Hello. Yes. So cash is the biggest thing that is a big hindrance. And that's the thing that I'm passionate about. And that's why we're doing this challenge, just so that you can understand your cash coming in and your cash going out. Now, when we looked on day 1, we looked at expenses, cash coming in. Now, if you did that exercise, you're most likely to find, oh my goodness, I didn't know I was spending all this money. This is the amount of money I need every month for my business to survive. Now, what I want you to do, or the thing that we encourage business owners to do, is to look at each line critically and say, oh my goodness, do I really need this money? Do I really need to spend this money? Do I, for example, if you need an office, do you need an office that is, you know, I don't know, overlooking the Thames River in a fancy building in the middle of town? You don't have to have that. You can have one that you can afford. And also, if your business cannot afford to run itself, so that comes in with day two. Day two, yesterday we looked at the cash coming in. Now, if your cash coming in is not enough to meet your expenses, there's a big problem. Your business is overspending, and you have to address that. No matter how many, the reaction many small businesses have is that you have to go and sell more. Oh, I need more sales. And when many businesses tell you, I have a cash flow issue, they're just looking to make more. How can I make more money? How can I sell? How can I sell some more? Where can I get more customers? But really, the issue is you need to look at your business, even if it's a tiny, tiny business, even if you're making £100, in that money, you should be able to see where the profit is. You should be able to see how much of it is going to pay you, even if it's going to pay you £2. You should have that allocated in there. You should have within it money that's going to pay for more materials to buy it. So all these things should be in that sale that you made. So if you're not able to cover, if the materials, whatever you sold it for, is not able to cover materials to buy it again, there's something wrong with the way you've structured your pricing, and we need to look at that. But if the money is a lot, but when it comes in, it's like all of it goes to materials, none of it goes to you. You need to look at your expenses. Layla is saying that she did that exercise and she nearly died. I know, it's a shocker. It's many businesses focus on selling, but they don't focus on how much is it costing you to sell. And that's one thing that you really need to critically sit down and look at. So I want to highlight a few things that I think would really, really benefit you when you're reviewing your expenses. So first of all, get clear on how much your business needs every month. How much your business needs every month to function, number one. Number two, how much is your business bringing in? Yeah, how much is, I'm sorry, I'm just laughing. Leila says she did the exercise, she nearly died, and she had to lie down in the dark for 5 hours after seeing those figures. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Yes, so one of the things you need to critically look at is your expenses. So if the money you're bringing in is not enough to cover your expenses, there's a problem, number one. Either your pricing is wrong, but if your pricing isn't wrong and that your customers are not complaining, or you're not undercutting your competitors, you're not way cheaper than your competitors, and your customers are okay, we need to look at your pricing, your costing. We need to look at your costs and address the ones which are ego-based costs. Yes, we have ego-based. Our egos come a lot in the businesses because sometimes you just want, the business it should be a business. I mean, what kind of business is this if I cannot afford the best office ever? Or what kind of business is this if I cannot drive the car that I want to? Yes, that is true, but the time is not now. It's not when your business is growing. A time will come when you will be able to afford those things. But in the meantime, you just need to be able to do the things that your business can afford. You need to be able to, the business needs to be able to feed itself. If it can't, there's something fundamentally wrong. So look at the expenses you have. Which one of them are ego-based? Which one of them just make you feel good, but do not make any financial sense to somebody who's like an accountant like me, who can tell you, this is not making any sense for your business. Yes, I know you need, fancy office, but do you really need it now, or can you invest in it later? Right now, let's focus on getting your business stable, and let's focus on how you can be able to afford such an office, be in such a place at a later date. So that's one thing that you need to do. The other thing is, and it's just reminded me of this fantastic book called Profit First by Michael Michalowicz. I hope I've said it right. But he's an American, and he wrote this book called Profit First. He even created a movement based on that Profit First. And it's all about small businesses, why is it that your profit is the last thing that you consider? And his argument is that it should never be that way. Your profit should be the first thing that you take out of anything that you sell. The first thing that you take out is your profit, because you're in business to make a profit. If you can't take out your profit immediately, what are you doing? Profit should never be sales minus expenses equals profit. That's not how it should be, because that is an old accounting method. And I can say this confidently because I'm an accountant. It's the way accountants, we do our books. So you have your sales, and then after that you have your expenses, and then after that outspills the profit. That's how we accountants do it. And I can also tell you that the way we accountants work out the cash flow statement is crazy. I did that for a client the other day, and I tried to explain to them how it works, and they were looking at me like, huh? It made absolutely no sense. So I had to scrap that and just use layman's language and say, this is the money that's coming in your business. This is how you're spending it. Are you happy with that? Shall we cut some things back? Shall we look at finding better deals and things like that? But in this book, Profit First, Leila is asking whether this is an easy read. It's an easy read. Anybody who is not an accountant can read. It comes in a narration. He's really good, and is able to explain it to just the regular business person. And all the examples that he gives are really concrete examples that you can understand. It's not a numbers book for business people. So I really recommend it. And what he recommends is when you sell something, or what in your business, because remember, your business is not just the thing that you sell for profit. It's all the accompanying costs that are enable you to run that business. So it'll include rent, it'll include paying yourself, it'll include paying your taxes. All those things should be accompanied in the business. So when you're creating a business, he recommends to have 5 accounts. So one for all the money coming in, one for your expenses, one for paying yourself, one for paying your taxes, and another one I forget. But I'll attach the name of the books, the name of the book on this live, and then you can have a look at it. Or actually, we'll be having a webinar on not a webinar, a masterclass next week on Tuesday, where I'll cover this in a little bit more detail. So if you're interested in just understanding how, when the money comes in your business, how do you allocate it? How do you move it? How do you make sure that you pay yourself? How do you assess it to see whether the business can afford itself? Come to the masterclass and we'll cover that there. We'll also look at other things like, is it your sales? Is it your pricing? Is it your sales? Is it that you're not making enough sales? So we'll have a special guest who will help us understand operationally how that works. Leila is saying, how can she register for the masterclass? I'll put in a link. You can register it there, but I'll also send an email to all the attendees who signed up, so that you can have the opportunity to sign up for that if you want to. It will be a Zoom format, so you can ask questions directly if you want to. It's a fantastic book. So going back again to how to manage your books, how to manage your cash. So you review your expenses and see which ones are ego-based, which ones, how can you do it cheaper, number one. Number two, if you have any loans that you've taken, you have to account for the fact that you have to pay them back. Sometimes people take loans to pay salaries, but remember, the following month, you will still have to pay those salaries. So does that mean you're going to take a loan again? And remember, you have to pay that loan back. So when you're taking that loan, try and think about, okay, it means that next month I still have to cover my salaries, and then also I have to pay the loan. So it's as though I have to pay the salaries twice plus the interest of the loan. So be wary of those loans that, especially the quick ones, those ones have really, really high interest rates. So just be wary of those things and always account for them when you're doing your management for your cash. And the other thing that we looked at was invoicing. Are you invoicing on time? When you make a sale, don't wait until the following week and say, oh yeah, I forgot to invoice that person. That person hasn't paid me. In fact, let me send them the invoice. No, the system in your business should be, you have made a sale, and then you invoice them, and then you wait for the payment. And carrying on to that is you invoice everybody, even friends that you do business with, even friends that have, bought from you, you invoice everybody. And invoicing is mostly usually for the businesses that sell on credit. If you're a cash only business, when someone like a supermarket, when you go to the supermarket and you buy, you give them the cash, they give the goods. That's cash basis. And what that means is that they'll just give you a receipt. They don't need to give you an invoice. So an invoice is to someone who is going to pay you later. So if you are invoicing people, you need to understand how you do it in your business. What are the your payment terms? What are your payment terms? Are you going to tell the customer you need to pay 20% deposit or 60% deposit, and then after that you pay 40% on delivery? Are you consistent with that? Or is it for some people something and then other people something? Just be consistent, because then it makes sure that the cash coming in is also consistent. You know, every time I sell, I will have 60% deposit come in, and then 40% later. And that will be your model that you always employ. Don't have different things for different people. It'll affect the way the cash comes into your business. And then also, the sooner the people pay, the better. So try not to have very long terms of payment, like 60 days, or I know sometimes if you have a corporate client, they set the terms, but try and negotiate that down or ask for a deposit so that it doesn't strangle your business and that you're not stuck not doing anything. And if you're in that scenario, make sure that they're not your only client. You have other smaller clients as well who you serve, and that can help you keep the lights on. Yes, so those are the things that I wanted to recap on, on the challenge that we have done. And also one thing I wanted to also address is mindset. Mindset of many small business owners. There's this thing sometimes that we think it's better to sell than to sell on credit, to just give everybody, someone wants to buy on you and they can't pay you now. Okay, yeah, just give them and then they'll pay later. Sometimes I call it the sales FOMO, sales fear of missing out. It's not the best practice for your business. If you're always just selling to anybody who comes on credit, it will, number one, strangle your business in terms of cash. And if you're using different terms or different payment terms than you had initially intended, you're going to affect your cash coming in, and you're going to spend so much time chasing them. And big companies actually have a whole department. They call them credit control. Yeah, so they are actually a whole department dedicated to chasing payments. So you don't have a whole department dedicated to chasing payments. So to make your life easier and to spend your time more wisely, try and bring forward the payment as much as you can. If they can pay cash on delivery, that's fantastic. Do that, because then you don't have a whole department to start chasing people for money. And if you are chasing someone for money, be sure if you said 30 days, start 30 days, even if you can automate this way. We have accounting systems that can automate this for you, so that you say, if the payment is not in the account by day 30, send an email to remind. And then it also brings up a reminder for you. Every day you can check and see who hasn't paid. You give them a call and find out when they're going to pay. Because many clients have found is if you don't call them to remind them, hey, my check is overdue, when are you going to pay? They think you don't need the money. They have other people chasing them, so they'll prioritize those people. And the person who's been bugging them the most is the person they will pay, so that they can just get rid of them. So get better at chasing your payment. It's your money, you've earned it. But in order to avoid that, don't always try and make your payment terms as short as possible. And then the other thing is the money mindset. If you don't like talking about money, it affects your cash flow. In that you feel icky or you feel weird trying to chase money. You feel like, oh, they're going to think I'm desperate. So you start thinking about other people, what they're going to think about you. In business, you're in business. If you don't do these things for your business, nobody will. So you have to just take away the emotion, which is really hard to do, I know. Take away the emotion and then treat it as its own entity. Think about it like your child, yeah? If someone owed your child money and your child was starting to starve, would you just sit there and just say, oh yeah, they have other priorities, my child will just starve? No, you'll go knocking on the door and say, my child is starving, they need to eat, you need to pay me my money. And that way, it will be, you'll get paid, granted, because they have a priority list as well. It's the same for you. If someone's chasing you for money, the one who's chasing the loudest, you're like, oh, I just need to pay them and get rid of them. Jenny is saying chasing for money has really affected, but yes, it's like people say, oh, I'm going to pay you. And then if it's something, a commodity that they've already consumed, that you cannot say, I want it back, it becomes so hard. And you're not a department that's going to be dedicating all its time chasing money. It's draining, it's frustrating. So change your payment terms. Say, when someone says, you know what, I want to buy it, you say, okay, it's cash on delivery. Because imagine you had gone to a shop and you say, oh yes, I want to buy, this thing. They wouldn't give it to you on credit all the time. So try and bring your credit terms, shorter. You can say, you know what, when you make an order, you need to make a deposit. And then when they deliver it, you pay the rest. So that means that it's your payment terms that you need to look at to make sure that they reduce that time you're spending chasing money. Those payment terms. So decide what your payment terms are. A deposit on order and then the rest on delivery, or is it all cash on delivery? But because you're a small business, you can't really afford credit. I know it feels like, it's better I sell to them on credit and then they pay me later. But that's really struggling your business, because you're still spending the money to create your product or to provide the service, but the money is not coming in for you to buy more things, for you to buy more materials. It's not coming in for you to invest in your business, and you're kind of stuck. So have a think about your payment terms. And Leila says she hates this aspect of business. Yeah, talking about money for many people, many business owners, because remember, you're not accountants, you're business owners. For some people, they feel nothing. They're like, you know what, you owe me this money, you need to pay up. For other people, it's like, oh, it's an icky topic. They don't want to talk about it. So automate it. Get an accountant to automate it for you, so that when they make the sale, send them the invoice. Then when it's due, send them a reminder. Then your accountant can do this for you. So this is something that can easily be automated. So in your system, when they set it up, like QuickBooks does this very well, and it's not an expensive system. QuickBooks is meant for small business owners. You can do this on QuickBooks. You can do this on Xero, where you automate this process so that you don't have to be the one talking and chasing people for money. The system does it, and then you can just call them and say, yeah, my money. Hello, I'm just calling to see when are you going to, to make the payment. So, but to avoid this, because we hate talking and chasing up money, just make your policy payment on delivery. Payment on delivery, otherwise the goods will not be delivered. And again, at that point, you have a bargaining power. You can say, if you don't do it, then I'm not going to give it to you. But once you've handed it over, it's done. Once you've handed it over, it's completely done. So you lose your bargaining power, and now you're at the mercy when they're going to pay you. And that affects your cash flow. So in order to manage that better, make sure that you are clear about your payment terms. No special treatment for some people. Always stick to it. That's something that I find small businesses are, wishy-washy about, because they don't know how it affects their cash flow. Yes, so let me see if there are any more questions. Leila is asking to elaborate more about QuickBooks. Yes, QuickBooks is an accounting software. It's very easy to use. Your accountant can use it for you. It does your bank reconciliations. It does I know if I'm talking Greek to some people, blah, 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 just ask your accountant or ask me. I'll be able to hook you up with a QuickBooks account where you can have all your invoicing go through there. So you just say, I want to send this, and it has an app as well, which is so easy to use. You just on the road, as soon as you get an order, you put it on your QuickBooks. You can send them a link on WhatsApp, and then they can click on it, see the invoice, and also you can automate it so that the reminders also go on WhatsApp on their phone. Most people have WhatsApp these days, so it can be, it can start relieving the pressure from you having to be the one to chase the payment. Yes, Leila is saying she's had some people chase. Yes, that's a really, really good. This is a really good point. So when your customer is refusing to pay on time, you can have it. So that's why on your payment terms, you can say, when you make your payment, you need to pay within 30 days. If you don't pay within 30 days, and this should be clearly stated, even on your invoice, you can put it this, we charge 3% interest for every day that you're late or every week that you're late. And also, if your check bounces, we will charge you a fee for that. So please make sure that you pay on time. Those are things that you can do in order to incentivize your clients to pay. The other thing you can do as well is give a discount and say, if you pay cash upfront, you get a 5% discount, or 2% discount, or you take advantage of, or you get this something free. Some things that maybe in your business weren't selling really great, and you thought that they were a good product. Yes, when you buy this and you pay upfront, you also get this free, because you don't want to cut your costs because you need the money. That's fine. You get this extra thing free, or you get this bonus, or next time when you buy, you get like 20%, something like that, that you can incentivize them to pay up quicker, because that's what you want. Yes, so that's all we have time for. Again, I will be putting in a link for masterclass. We'll be having a masterclass, cash management, just to take it a little deeper, to see how you can actually allocate. So once you've stopped your business from leaking, because if your money is not being managed properly, you basically have a leaking bucket. You have a bucket with money that you collect from your clients, and it has holes at the bottom. Every time you move it around, it's just leaking money. And this money is leaking because you're not clear about your expenses. You're spending it on things you shouldn't be. And how do you analyze that? We'll be looking at how to actually analyze your business in a bit more detail. We'll be touching on the principles of profit first in this masterclass, and we'll be looking at other things as well. Maybe it's sales, maybe it's your marketing, other things that you need to look at or be aware of in your business. And we'll be doing this in the masterclass, and I have a special guest. So I'll put up the link for guys to sign up if that's something that you want. And it will be just one session, about maybe no more than an hour, where we'll just discuss these things. It'll be on Zoom, kind of like a Zoom class, where you can ask questions and we can respond immediately. If you want to talk and ask and speak to us, you can. It'll be a small group, so it won't be something so big, so that people can feel confident. Because I know businesses, sometimes you want to feel it's a lot of confidential information that you're dealing with. So if you fancy just having a small, close-knit group, that's how we'll make it. We'll make it big. We'll make it webinar style, where everyone can, so we won't be broadcasting. So it'll just be a Zoom room where we, just have this intimate conversation about the businesses and what you can do in order to manage your cash, or have ideas or other things, how we work with clients in order to help them grow their businesses and just improve their businesses. Because remember, we are in the business of making legacy businesses that will last generations and generations. So if that's something that you want to do, I'll put in the link for the masterclass. But otherwise, I will put the homework. We have until the masterclass, where we'll start, announcing the winners of our vouchers. So you still have time. When you do the task, just comment whether you've done it or whether you're going to do it. And yes, at that masterclass as well, we'll announce the people who are the winners, or the people who took part. Will recognize them as well in the masterclass. So we still have time the rest of the week for you to take part and for you to watch the replays. If you have any friends who you think would benefit from this as well, just invite them to take part in the challenge. Yes, give us feedback on the things that we can do better, the things that you would want to hear more of. We're open to feedback, and we're open to hearing what you have to say. So I hope this has been of service to you. I hope this, and yes, it is. It is a free masterclass. It's a free masterclass that is open to everyone. And then within that masterclass, now we'll show you how you can work with us if that's something that you want to do. Because from there, we want to create a workshop where we actually roll up our sleeves and work with your business to say, okay, this one should be this percent, this one should be this percent. We can get more individual. So yes, so the masterclass itself will be free, where you can ask questions, just an hour long, not very long. Yes, so I hope that has been useful. Thank you very much for joining. And remember, if you haven't watched the other ones, day 1, day 2, day 3, please do. You have until next week, Tuesday, to take part and to give us your feedback, to ask questions. I'll be in the group responding to questions if you have any. So yes, see you later. Bye for now.